Alright, we got another X-Wing Hyperspace League tournament held in San Antonio, Texas, April 6, 2019 at Nightwatch Games. This is game 2 of 3 between Blake and John. Both players are coming into this match 1-0. John's playing Blackout and 2 Upsilons, one of them being Mater Stridon, all of them having Pattern Analyzer and Trick Shot. Blake is playing Poe Dameron and 3 A-Wings, Lulo, Tally, and Greer Sinel. John's been playing the Epsilons for some time now, and it's a fairly straightforward list. Blackout tries to find opportunity to shoot through the rocks, do a lot of damage at a higher PS. A lot of flanking and maneuverability for that ship. Of course, the 2 Epsilons are just looking to get targets in front of them and stay there for as long as possible. Obviously, being not very maneuverable ship, he has to make sure his positioning is well thought out. He doesn't want to get himself in any trouble in regards to maybe committing too soon and getting outmaneuvered or whatever it might be. Blake's list is a little bit different. It's very dodgy. The only ship in his list that can handle any kind of sustained attack is Poe, and obviously not for very long if he's in front of those Upsilons. His 3 A-Wings are very maneuverable, but also very squishy, and at a higher PS, so he's going to have a lot of opportunity to duck and dodge and stay behind John if he gets there. Of course, he has to find the lane to get behind the Epsilons first, and in a position where he's not vulnerable to blackout. That's the trick to his list, however best he can find it. John is on the left-hand side of the board, and Blake is on the right-hand side of the board. And they are opening up into turn 1.
We need to look at your dials a little further in. When did you look at your dials a little further in?
I played John in the last game, and I've played him several times with those Upsilons. His opening move are always fairly similar, and not a bad way to engage. He usually always all stops, and he has Blackout down there in a position to K-turn. He's really just looking to stay on his side of the board until he's forced to commit. This is a little bit, usually he all stops, but he's one straight in here. The danger of that with him, especially on this match, is that Blake has 2 really fast A-Wings lined up there on the right-hand side of the board. So all Blake really has to do is just come out really fast in a 5 straight. Even with the danger of doing a 1 turn and facing him, it's a red move, so John's next move has to be a green, and so he could very easily just do another 5 straight and boost to be behind in the next round. Comes out here with a 2 straight off the right out of the first turn, focusing and not committing to any direction. It looks like John has the initiative, so the rest of Blake's ships will move second. Of course, that's going to give him a huge advantage in this game. Knowing where Blackout's going to be before he moves is going to give him a lot of opportunity to duck and dodge Blackout's arcs and him trying to shoot through. Asteroids.
You want your double strike? Yeah, I will. Not yet.
Do not doubt that.
Looks like Blake's coming out with another 2 straight. Again, it's a non-committal start, as slow as those A-Wings can come out, and that's fine. But John is showing him his backside on those Upsilons, so he has the ability to come in very quickly here and really cause havoc to those Upsilons if he moves fast enough. Now, that second A-Wing that he moved has looks like an asteroid in front of him, so he's going to have to do some maneuvering there. But the last A-Wing, don't know which one that one is, but just one turn towards the bottom of the board. It looks like Blake's lining up to split his fire, maybe trying to create a net of opportunity for John to come into. So see how it plays out over the next couple rounds.
I thought I was just being fat fingered.
He's still gonna bump him.
Oh, my ass was. They're currently open. Alright, but they're good. Alright. God, this is all on video too.
This is on video too.
Jesus.
So you realize we will be ridiculing whoever loses.
Oh no.
No, dude. Like, oh my god. I'm about to just freaking quit.
Blake boosts him to the bottom half of the board. It really looks like he's committing to splitting his forces right now. Entering the second round of play. Looks like John's gonna 2-turn into combat. That's a risky endeavor for John because those large bases aren't going to maneuver around those rocks very well. But he's been playing them for a while, so he's kind of determined where he wants to commit. Another 2-turn. And one thing John does really well with the Epsilons is that he maneuvers them very similarly, and what that does is it gives them 8 dice if he gets a target in both arcs. And that's really beneficial, especially with the coordinating and everything like that. 8 dice double modded is pretty deadly for anyone who gets caught in this trap. Looks like Blake is turning in here. It's going to be an interesting call for him, especially considering that John really just opened up the right-hand side of the board for him. So looks like he's going to opt to maybe try to pull John through the rocks. Not a bad idea, but one thing Blake's going to have to remember is that if he has all of his ships kind of pushing towards the same half of the board and John is kind of slowly and methodically closing off that side of the board, he's going to get caught in fire, and that's going to be difficult for Blake to kind of find his way out of. Blackout's going to move. Of course, Blackout has a really wide open dial after being stressed, so playing 5 straight. John's still playing it really cautious. Going to let his Epsilons try to do the bulk of the work and let Blackout come in and do his damage where he can.
I'm going to need your range later anyway.
It's going to boost straight.
You can't rise my little bit because of my ship wall.
This is probably Tally and Lulu. I don't know which one's which, but we'll know as soon as they start shooting. Again, this camera's just about had it. He's going to 2-bank in, so he's going to really commit to that side of the board. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out over the course of the game. I mean, if you can see right now, unless Blake really finds a way to separate himself, he has a cluster of A-wings lining up really nicely for those 2 Epsilons to kind of collapse in on. So a move John could do next, knowing that he's committing to that side of the board, is that black Epsilon, he could 1-bank it towards the top of the board, and the bottom one you could 1-bank towards the bottom. Or you can even all stop, and then the next round, John could 2-turn that Epsilon in, and the other one could move up, and then he would have a field of fire that, if Blake found himself in, would be pretty difficult to get out of.
Taking one out of your book.
Oh, looks like Poe with a 4K. Looks like also Poe doesn't want to commit to anything. It's going to be interesting. You would have assumed that Poe would have tried to shoot down that bottom side of the board as fast as he can. But at the moment, he's really giving John the opportunity to find avenues in that rock cluster. Again, John's list really only wants to shoot once or twice. Well, I take that back. Those Epsilons probably want to shoot 2 to 3 times a game. If they both get 2 to 3 shots off a game, he probably wins this game. It's a very risky endeavor to get shot with 6 shots with 4 dice each. And so with Blake kind of positioning himself there towards this, all of his ships are pointing to the center of the board right now. And unless he finds a way to quickly break out, I think the A-Wings can go quickly. It's just right now looking at it, there's no real good maneuver to do that this round. And see, there goes a 2-bank from John. And if Blake doesn't do it in the next round or two, John's going to close that gap on him. And so that's why Blake really wanted to use the first round or two to really position himself for this round and the next round. He also had an opportunity there too where that rock was right in front of both Upsilons, and so knowing that, he could have really, those two top A-Wings, he really could have just turned them right into them and maneuvered them away from and so he and John committed to the bottom half of the board, so that really left the opportunity for Blake to turn up and then boost and barrel roll out and be behind at least for those two A-Wings, be behind the Epsilons for this game. Of course, Blackout's there and he's covering the rear, and that's good on John's part. That's really smart play. But even still, I would take that trade-off, not being in front of the Epsilons and only having to deal with Blackout on the backside for 2 or 3 of his ships would have been right about where. This is an interesting move. Blake is going to 3 turn down. Again, Blake is putting himself, now all of his ships right now are clustered in that bottom quarter of the board, where his real advantage to this game would have been spreading out. It would have been spreading out and getting behind the Epsilon, taking care of Blackout, and being done with it. But he's committing to that bottom quarter of the board, so we'll see how it works out for him. Blackout looks like he did a tunnel, maybe. And it looks like John is really just using Blackout as a cover for his backside, which is smart. He knows the Epsilon's weak side or their backside. I played John after this game, and I had an A-Wing and an X-Wing and Han Solo. And he kind of did the same setup with me, but I just shot real far behind his Epsilons, and he tried to cover with Blackout, but Blackout didn't have enough firepower for Wedge and Jake, and so I cleaned up Blackout and just stayed behind him the rest of the game. And that's really, it was a good strategy. It's a different one than Blake would have had to use. Blake's turning further away from him, and that's not a bad move, because he has everything pointed towards that lower quadrant, and if that one's pointing in the opposite direction, that gives him the ability to shoot back up towards that quickly. He just has to make that move. He can't keep everything stationary. One straight out of Poe. That's a non-committal move too. It's a safe move, especially for X-Wings. But again, when you have all these, A-Wings, you definitely the X-Wings fine. The A-Wings want to move. You don't want to play them like a bunch of X-Wings. He's going to stress himself here for positioning, and he does have the 3 straight, but definitely closing himself off to some possibilities. He has the R2 astromech also. There's going to be no shot from the top of Epsilon. Epsilon going to move into the next round of play. It seems like, watching this game, that Blake is playing into John's hands, but we'll see. An all-stop pattern analyzer and a focus. It's going to put his back shuttle in a bad spot, though, by doing that. Not a bad move. Again, he doesn't have a good move. He would have to commit to the bottom of the board or the outside of the board. And that's not a good move this round for him. This gives him an extra turn to have to keep that arc kind of wide open, and then if he wanted to commit, he would have to commit to. He could go over the rock. I mean, he has no damage on that ship, so. And that bottom Epsilon's not in a bad spot either. He can one turn towards the top of the board and keep his arcs open also. Let's see what the A-wings do. They have been dancing around that bottom side of the board.
Slightly different. This is even a cabinet tournament. Still the same. Regionals, nationals, stuff like that. Yeah.
3-turn. Again, it really kind of feels like Blake is keeping himself in front of those arcs instead of trying to move behind him. Again, that position where he is now, unless he stopped right now and 2-turned in next round, the round after this he's going to be almost right in front of those upsilons.
Yeah. No.
Yep, he's going to boost. He's going to be really close to that rock. He made it. Of course, the next round after this one, he's going to definitely go over that rock.
You're fine.
You don't care. I'm surprised you really don't use the
Yeah, I was actually thinking about switching, but I completely forgot to do it.
Blackout with a non-committal, keeping the backside of those upsilons covered. Really good positioning considering the current positioning of Blake. I think typically leaving that much of the backside of your backside open would be very risky, but considering all of Blake's ships are on this bottom half of the board, it probably is going to be beneficial for him. Nope, the 2-bank in, that's going to park him right in front of that first upsilon. He's going to want to be careful here with this guy. Probably wants to stay at range 3. I think he has trick shot on a couple of these guys and crack shot on one, so if it's one of the ones with trick shot, he can get the 3 dice through. The bad thing about the A-wings is that the red dice are always better than the green, and if he shoots, if John rolls 4 hits and you blank out on that return shot, you're dead. And so it makes it difficult for you to spend that focus on offense. It's a 1-turn. I guess he wasn't stressed last round. It was a target lock. Yeah. So really, he has this opportunity right now with that ship to stay put and 5 straight, or even boost forward, but 5 straight next round, and just be behind those ships for the rest of the game and really keep. Oh, he's gonna turn in. Yeah. So he's I think Blake's kind of falling into John's trap here. He is keeping all of his ships right in the firing pattern of John's next moves. Depending on who John works on here, will kind of dictate which way John's going to move next. Oh, looks like he landed on that debris. Yeah. That's not going to help for this round. Blake really wanted to have Poe with the opportunity to shoot, modify this round, but also have a better next round too. So it looks like he has a heavy laser cannon. That's really good. I really like Poe with the heavy laser. I like the T-70s with heavy laser cannons, period. But
Well, they got a generic. I think the generic.
4 dice. Looks like he rolled 1 hit. John always rolls with 8s. I hate his dice. I'm gonna mill you. He'll tear me up with his other dice. Another range 3 from one of his A-wings. 1 hit. Nothing. Got 1 shield.
Did you not put shields on him?
No, usually yeah, shield.
His next 5 is gonna fire.
1 shield.
It's one of the ones with trick shot, I think. 'Cause I think he's going to shoot the debris here and he's going to roll 3 dice. But again, he's going to want to be very cautious about spending that focus. Because John doesn't have to. He has shields left. Don't spend that focus. There's a yeah, there you go. 2 hits. He's going to take 1. It would not have been worth it to do 2 damage and then be empty for the next shot coming in.
Yeah, you're 4. Oh, you don't shot. Okay, so my 4.
Another shot. This is from his PS. It's for 2. So you got lucky there. That's good.
Yeah, my. Well, it was my mistake. I should have put 2 there.
Looks like he got enough paint to be safe there. Alright, so the next one's going to fire for Blake. This is PS4. We're going to see if it has trick shot or crack shot. I guess they might have called out arc or something. I thought it had range. Alright, we're going to enter into the next round of play. John with a hard commit. Look at the two bank. That's green. The 1 banks aren't green, but I think I still would have done the 1 bank just to keep more options open. That's a hard commit to the outside of the board, which is okay. Again, he can 1 turn up. I think that might fit. I could be wrong about that, but also he's going to start turning those upsons. Let's see, he's going to reinforce here. I think that is the rear. I never can get that token right, but we'll know as soon as he starts shooting. That's the 1 straight. Looks like he's going to make the hard commit to the bottom and then start turning his ships up. Not a bad idea. He'll get them turned around again before the end of the game. So I do think I would try to target lock here, though. Just to have
these
it.
things are crazy. They have a white focus target.
That or
lock,
coordinate.
jam,
That would be a bad idea either.
and I think that's it, right?
He can coordinate at range 2 to 3 with Striding. Yep, there he goes. He's going to coordinate something out to Blackout.
He gets 2 rings, 3.
Oh, is
That's a
that
good combo. It makes it where Blackout or Kylo are very unpredictable on where they're going to be. This last Hyperspace regional, I was playing a guy from Houston, and I had the game all but 1, and the time was called, and I ran for it, and we both were like, oh, okay, game's over. But I didn't boost on when I should have, and I focused instead. I should have boosted. But by giving him that extra little maneuverability, he shot up really fast and was able to barrel and arc, do half damage on my ship, and win the game by like 10 points. But that's kind of how the game goes right now, right? But that's kind of the power of those. He was playing Kylo, I believe, or no, it might have been Trick Shot. But that's kind of the power of those ships are really fast. Oh, he got a damage. That doesn't help on a four ship. And so his positioning there too is not worth that damage. He taking that damage and not having a shot last round was not worth it for sure for that A-Wing. But again, I think I kind of feel like he played himself into a corner there and was kind of stuck with that, with having to make that call. Oh, and Blackout's gonna Blackout 2 bank towards Blake. He can boost here or target lock and boost and really mess up. Really mess up that A-Wing that lost the shield. Oh, yeah, I take that one. Yep, get him! Oh, I'd make Blake pay for that move. That'd be 1 dead A-Wing.
Put on that guy. Yeah. And then he's going to boost.
Oh, there he is. He got the target lock on him. I'd boost in too. Get a closer shot. I think it's range 3 right now. The only tough thing about that is that he's going to be stressed and he can't coordinate. He can't coordinate a barrel roll. But that's okay. I think if I could kill one of Blake's ships, I'd take it.
Yeah, I think that gave you the game.
A 2 turn out by one of Blake's A-Wings. That's a tough call, isn't it? It's hard to say if you take a focus and turn your arc. You kind of assume Blackout's going to go for that A-Wing, but he can just as easily go for. If that's Lulo, he can just as easily go for that one because he's missing the he'd be missing the target lock, but he would have all the modifications from trick shot and firing through Dree, and that ship, Lulo, is way more valuable to kill than the other one. Even though the other one has a better opportunity to die, having Lulo off the board is way more valuable for John. Of course, the negative part about John's positioning right now is he only has one ship with a shot, and so I guess you got to make it count, right? But maybe if he had two, maybe if he had one turned up that other Upsilon, and it could fire at Lulo, I think definitely he could take it. Blake's A-wing's in pretty decent position. I would assume you would barrel roll and boost. He looks like he's going to boost forward. It's not going to give him a lot of opportunities on the next, maybe turning out the next round, but they have the rear arcs, and that's always helpful. And see, if I was Blake here, I think I might go for blackout, since you have it. Of course, poor Poe here. He's all kind of out of position. And it's unfortunate, but I don't think he's going to have an ability to get. He might. He might be able to boost and maybe barrel roll in if his wings are in the right position.
Focus. Spin his charge. No. Oh, yeah, he is. Sorry. You're right. So, yeah.
Not much shooting has happened this round.
Sorry, I forgot it was white. Alright. No shot for Poe.
See exactly what happened there with.
That's what we were saying earlier.
Oh,
Pick the wrong person.
he was stressed. He 3-banked. That's what the problem was. Yep, he's going to go for that guy at range 2. So Poe doesn't get. Poe's going to be sad. He's going to sit out there with no abilities. And of course, you know, he's still clustered up here. John can withstand a small barrage here. They're going to check to see if that's going to be obstructed or not. It's hard to see if it is or not, but we'll know here when they roll. If it's 3 dice, it's not obstructed. If it's 4, it's obstructed. Yep, it's obstructed because you're going to use Blackout's ability here. Oh, this is going to be rough. Double modded.
Yeah, so he's got 3 regular and then 6
No mods for Blake. No heroic. I don't know if he has enough dice for heroic. Three hits. I'll spend the target lock. Finish him.
One evade. 2 shields.
Takes 2. Yeah, he really had the opportunity to get him there.
Alright. So my 5s.
Yeah, John let him off the hook with that one. Let's see what happens next couple rounds. It looks like Blake's gonna have a couple nice shots. He's still pretty clustered, but he's in a lot better position now. Though his next moves aren't gonna be real beneficial. He's got to decide if which one he's gonna focus fire down. He's already started one. He has 3 shots at that Upsilon, really close on with mods. So it is rear. So, you know, that he has his reinforced to the rear, which is going to be rough because that's going to reduce 1. So if he rolls any amount of aids, there's a chance that Blake's not going to do a whole lot of damage. 3 dice. So that must be tally? Yeah, it's tally. Yeah, look at there. Not taking any damage. Or I took maybe 1. Range 1, let's see if this is Lulo. If he throws 4 dice, that's Lulo. Yeah, okay, so Lulo's that one right there by the rock. Oh, 4 hits, that's really good. It's going to be reduced by 1, so he's going to take 3. But again, he's not even half points yet on that guy. He could probably get there with this next shot, but now he's kind of committed to killing that one since it's already down. You don't want to start spreading your fire unless you get it to half and you want to start killing Blackout or something. That's 1. And he took it, so I believe that's half. Let's see what happens in the next round. Epsilon number 2, he's probably gonna 2-turn. Yeah, that's a good move. He's gonna start turning himself around. And also, if he starts doing that, I think I would maybe try to have 2-banked with the idea that I'm just gonna continue to run with him because that's the one that's gonna give up points. He's probably not gonna be able to shoot a whole lot more this game, and he's definitely gonna go with the rock, right? So, so you know that you don't really want to give Blake any points with that Epsilon. So there's a good chance that. Oh, there's a jam. That's good. That's not a bad move. Those things have jams, and that's pretty defensive, especially when he can come in with the next one and coordinate a reinforce or something like that, or a focus or target lock. 3-turn in here. I don't know if that's red or not for those upsilons. You would think it would be, but he has pattern analyzer too, so he can definitely do something. 3 turns a good move. Coordinator target lock on somebody. Probably trying to leave Blake's just 1 turn in maybe. Probably trying to leave his avenues open though. He is not in a great position. There's going to be a rock right in front of him, and he lost some hit points last round, maybe 1 or 2. He doesn't want to keep going over rocks to kill himself. So he would have had to commit to the barrel roll first and then the turning the arc. That's good. He can stay out of 2 arcs there. That's the one that's almost dead. It also puts him in a position where he's not going to get shot by Blackout this round. Blackout's going to have to go over that rock or get jammed up. And so that leaves him pretty safe. That's good. That's a good move. Yeah, Blackout's going to go 5 straight, looks like. That's going to put him right in front of another rock next round. That's a tough move. But Blackout's still healthy, so he can do those kind of things. Oh man, I'm getting messages in from everybody on list ideas. I better get this video done so I can look at them. We have in San Antonio since 2.0 started, we have a whole plethora of newer players, and it's fun. It takes some time to get everyone caught back up to speed, but a lot of our veteran players have kind of ducked out. There's like about 3 or 4 of us left. It's all good. I guess we just start over and get to try to push our ideas on everybody. So that looks like Lulo there. It looks like he is ducking out of town. It's going to be tough for him to continue to get shots on people. I think you want to maintain a range of 1 or 2 if you're shooting, unless you're in danger, right? But 2 turn out. There's a 3 turn out.
I was making room for
Facing rear. He's not giving himself a whole lot of opportunity to actually shoot at the opponent. Finally getting Poe into action. That's good. That's one of his heavy hitters, and he hasn't been shooting modified very much. Not sure if those wings are closed or not, but of course he wants to try to maintain that that bullseye firing arc for the heavy laser cannon. So it's no harm, no foul if he gets into that area. And Poe is very maneuverable, so he can do it. And firing at large base ships, he can get there too. I would boost in here, brother. I think he's going to do that. That's good. And what that does too is it gives him a very, very simple 1 straight next turn. If you look at the game board right now, John cannot stop Poe from 1 straight next round. He can't. The best he can do is 2 turn or whatever it is that's going to be unmodified, and so a 1 straight next round from Poe. So he has a real good opportunity to kind of do 8 points worth of damage here. Let's see how his rolls do for him to get there. He got 4 hits. That's a good roll. Let's see if he lost 4. Yep, he did. That's good. And I still, I guess the cannons don't give the range bonus now. So let's see. Now it's the tough thing for Blake here is he's splitting his fire when he has 2 of them almost a half health. That's too bad.
Unobstructed?
Looks like he's going to get a Blackout here. Blackout's ability should work in reverse too. Like if you're firing at him through while obstructed, like it adds evade or something. That'd be cool. I guess not, maybe.
Oh, my arc is closed up. Thank you.
Let's see. That looks like Tally. Tally's facing the wrong way too. She wants to be in that bullseye to use her ability, but maybe she doesn't have anybody. So
And I didn't get really big. I also got unlucky on some of the best ones. You actually
So where are the shots at? Did I miss something? I think I did. That's okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Some more messages were coming in about this. I look down, not at the video. All right, we're in our next round of play here. It looks like
Yeah.
Can you give me a three
am I
bank?
getting the craziest messages?
Over the rough?
Yep. Nothing.
There's a 3 bank. Yep, see that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have a lot of good moves, so no matter. Oh, he can coordinate a barrel roll. That's smart. You better do that too. And see what I'm saying about that one straight from Poe. That's just prime right there for Poe. Get that A-wing out of the way. Which it doesn't look stressed. Maybe. Maybe it is. I don't know. But just 5 straight it out of there. Or 2 turn it up. Because Poe with a 1 straight is primed to take another really good shot at that Upsilon, especially since it used its action to coordinate. And then it's defenseless, and so a 1 straight or a 1 boost, and then a focus or target lock would be prime. So let's see where this. Yep, there you go. Get that guy out of the way, and let's see where Poe's gonna go. He's gonna be behind. I feel like I'm missing a really good conversation right now on Messenger. So yeah, get that guy out of the way. Get him out of Poe's way. Stop playing around. Get Poe, your heavy hitter, back in there.
Oh, that stresses on Tally too.
Boost him and turn that arc backwards, and then 1 straight Poe, and then you win, I think. But let's see if that actually happens. Nope, there's a focus. And what's the next one you're gonna do? Don't leave him there. Where are you going? Okay, turn. Okay, so he's leaving that guy there. That's gonna make a 1 bank from Poe would fit, and that's a green. That's a good one. So he could just focus and target lock and blast Major Stridon.
Oh yeah.
Take a focus from Blackout, and Poe's undamaged too. So go for gold here. Don't worry about rocks or anything. Oh yeah, and that I think it's Lulo, and that's good. That's boost. Oh no, wait, never mind. He's right in front of that Upsilon. And let's take the focus and don't die. I think that's the right call. Even barrel rolling back wouldn't get you anywhere you want to be. Definitely don't stress yourself. No, it's gonna leave you an arc, man. It's gonna put you closer to that Upsilon. It looks like he still has arc there. So if he turns that thing forward, he's closer to the Upsilon and reduced dice. That's bad mojo. And that looks like Blackout has a shot at him too. Let's see where he's going to go with Tally. Part of the good thing about Tally in combination with Lulo is that if you have the defender or the attacker in the bullseye, you spend your charge, and it gives you +1 defense for Lulo. But if those two aren't dancing around together, then it's not happening. There really wasn't much else he could do with Tally. He was kind of in a bad spot. Blake has been just on the cusp of outside of good positioning all game. And again, it started because he cramped down in the bottom half of the board. If he would have stayed at least with half of the squad, oh, where are you going? No, go up. All right. I can't claim to know what Blake is doing anymore because he just turned up. But maybe he has a master plan. I'm not sure what would have convinced him to turn up too. There was no, if you're looking at the game state of where John was, there was no good move he had that would have prevented him from just pulling right into a really close shot. Though, I mean, if he wanted to, and if he had enough time, he could boost down and then he could 3-turn the next round and then again be right behind those Upsilons, which is a good place to be. I mean, he would have been there anyways, but if you didn't do it this last round, then do it this round. Blake's got to be careful though, because if he loses Lulo too soon, he's going to lose his opportunity to kind of win these games. Yeah, see, Lulo's going to take a shot, range 3, so it's going to be 3 dice, but he's unmodded.
Yeah. I'm trying to nick away at that thing because I don't imagine Lulu's going to last long.
It looks like 3 hits. That's a good roll.
1, so 2. And Lulo still gets to
Don't
choose.
be Lulo. I saw damage cards come out. He must have took at least 1.
See what I mean?
I feel like that guy's not going to
Because it was either that or that, you know?
Yeah, keep going after that Epsilon.
Yep, then I get 1 extra for stress.
Yeah, evade. Okay, good deal. He got him into half. That's where he wants him, especially if he's going to lose a guy. Gotta hope for a bad roll coming out of John this shot. I think there's 2 rounds left in this game. Looking at my edit.
But it's after it just stays, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't quite sure what the. I gotta find a better way to figure out what the crits are, other than just being standing there and taking notes. That's tough to do when you're playing too, though.
No shot.
So,
No shot. Line 4.
oh,
Range 2.
it was simultaneous fire. Lulo is dead. Poor
Good luck,
guy.
guys.
You looking, or where are you leaving?
Huh?
Why are you leaving?
The list isn't working the way I wanted it to, so.
That is unfortunate.
Plus, I got the new car I want to go play around with.
I dig it.
1?
Yep. One there.
Oh, he evaded.
Yeah, I threw that one together
Alright.
because I figured it was the easiest thing for me to
Looking
grab.
into the
I
next
figured I'd grab it,
round,
come in like, oh, you got the buy, and I'm like,
Blake is
well, crap.
Yeah.
behind the power curve. Although I think with a good 3 turn here out of Poe,
Alright, go for it.
um,
Can you do it 3 times?
he can get himself back into this game. He could probably kill that Upsilon. He could probably half health the other one. If he plays it smart, he can do all of that without losing any more points, and that would probably give him the win. See, now John got himself back in the position where he wants to be. He's opened that firing lane's back open, and Tally is sitting out there like a duck waiting to get shot. And Blake just has to play in the A-wings. He just has to see where those firing lanes are opening up on him and not turn into them.
He's going to change his party line.
Range.
Target lock there.
Let's see. So here's Blake's. I can't remember the name of that 4 guy. Initiative 4 A-wing, but it's not a bad move there. If he still has shots, that's a good move. He's just got to maintain shots. So
No, I'm just getting
Oh, I see.
right?
I don't know. I'll just focus. I think I'll just focus.
Okay.
I don't know if I have you in range. Blackout?
the bad move there. He's an open for a swoop next round, maybe.
No, 5-4.
Let's see where. And see, this is the tough thing with those silencers. He could, 5 straight, and he covers ground so fast that it almost doesn't even matter.
You pop off.
Blake angrily breaks Blackout out of frustration. That's poor gamemanship, Blake. You shouldn't do that to your opponent's stuff. Let's see what he's going to do here with Tally. Now, pointing Tally out of ship isn't a bad idea if you get him in the bullseye and use the ability. I don't know if I saw him use the ability on this one ever so far, but we'll see. Yeah, just take the focus, man. don't boost there. Yeah, there you go. And then Poe is going to 3 turns. That's a good move if he did. Or inexplicably Talon roll, which that's a thing too, I guess. I think if you're going to Talon roll, you probably want to go the other way.
Start combat. No shot.
Blake has been playing this guy long enough, I guess he knows it. Because he still has that slam too. I would have 3-turned again and had been pointing right at that stupid Upsilon. There's a range 3 there. Let's see what's going to happen. So this is Tally, I believe. I don't think you spend the focus if you don't have to. It's one hit. Probably in a evade, because that's what John's dice do. With Upsilons, that's tough. So if he fires back, Tally should spend her charge. Spend the charge. Yeah, spend the charge. I need to feel like he doesn't need them.
Jesus Christ.
Looks like there's some evades in there. Alright, and is there a shot there? Doesn't look like it, maybe. Oh yeah, they're picking up dice. Alright, so, and I think, again, he's the one with the trick shot, maybe. That's good. Yep, there you go, some trick shot. 2 hits. Probably some evades. That's what John's dice do. Yeah. Alright. So, we're going into the last round of combat here. I think we call time coming up. And it's still a relatively close game. Even losing Lulo, you'd only lost like 30-something points. If you got one of those Upsilons to half, you probably got pretty close to that, since they're so expensive. And so as long as Blake plays this smart, maybe runs for his life a little bit. Of course, that silencer can move, and so it's going to give him a chance to catch up. But Blake pinned himself in a corner, though he's still in the game by playing defensive. He has to clean it up here in the last round. Again, he kind of pinned himself down in that corner, and by doing that, he just kind of committed to the fact that he's going to dance around and try to win the game off low points. I think with Poe, you probably want to try to kill something. I know the Epsilons can do a lot of damage, so it's kind of like whatever at that time. He's going to coordinate a barrel roll. He's going to put him in front of a rock. He's going to want to do something and not be there. He must have coordinated focus and then took the barrel roll as the next action. I don't remember if the silencer has a 3-bank green anymore, but alright, and I'm sure Blake is thinking that guy is safe where he is. I don't know that I'd ever make that assumption with the silencer hanging around. Yeah, barrel roll out, but I think he's not going to have a focus. That is going to be rough.
And blackout.
Yeah, let's see what he does here with. How is he going to clear that? There's no way he clears that. Yeah, he's going over it. That's fine because he still has his focus, so he still has his modifications. Now, if that's the one he kept target locked earlier, that would be just disgusting. That might be the one he target locked at the beginning of the game. I don't remember, but it's a blackout. And then let's see Poe. He's going to be able to position himself with a 1-bank. That's going to be on the rock. I think Blake might have been drinking before he came to this game.
Yeah, in there.
Oh, he took the damage for it too. That's rough. That sucks. So, I still think it's relatively close. Let's see what he does. If he gets lucky here with
A lot of people like it.
Tally, he might be able to. Let's see, there's 4 hit points left on that Epsilon. It's unmodified.
I don't know.
And I don't know that Tally can kill that. I would have to get really lucky with double damage on a crit.
Oh.
That's the only time that's ever happened, though. I think that's, crack shot on one of them, too. It turned out it's not a bad move. Although, if it's your last round of play, it's not going to win you any games. But
I mean, it's like 20 minutes a game at most.
We'll play a couple times. He has that rear arc unless he's trying to shoot Blackout.
The bag is the game.
Blackout's healthy. I mean, he could, if he got lucky, if Poe wasn't on the rock, and you blasted Blackout and got him a half, Blackout firing here. This might be the only shot of the game, maybe. Oh, he's just out of boost here. I would have focused on boost. Not died. Hopefully preserve some points. This is a low-scoring game. Blake, all of Blake's games are low-scoring. He's playing really, really defensive, and I haven't played this list yet, so maybe that's just the way to play it. But it seemed to me that you'd want to try to do a little more damage than what he's put out here to kind of win, especially against John's list. And he has the opportunity with that one green dice ship, but he has to get behind him. 3 dice. John's dice roll good. All right, so this is the last hurrah. I think those were all focuses. That's a dead ship. Man, that's rough. Looks like John wins this one. I played him in the last round for the final. It was a good game. I wish I would have got it recorded. I had a pretty good list. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the game. Again, Blake versus John, round 2 of a 3-round local tournament, just to get us some practice in playing some Hyperspace X-Wing, which is always fun to watch. I think it's starting to be my favorite thing to play now. But anyways, I guess I hope you guys enjoyed the match, and we'll see you on the next one. Oh, and the next time I'll get a better camera.
Oh yeah.
And I'm putting in
The target lock? One.
the dice. Obviously, we need way too much, so I'm done.
Alright.